is right in sight. Behold, he comes quick like a thief in the night. At the head of 10,000, he be moving to fight. Burning holes at his feet, look, observe the flight. In the bottomless pit, they be falling, still dying. Who can save the line? Bring him home to Zion. There's a lion where he's in Judah sleep. I wonder who will wake. Bring him to his feet. Speak now, or forever hold your peace. The violence of this beast must cease. Look out, I see a lion where he's in Judah sleep. I wonder who will wake. Bring him to his feet. Speak now, or forever hold your peace. The violence of this beast must cease. There's a lion where he's in Judah sleep. I wonder who will wake. Bring him to his feet. Speak now, or forever hold your peace. The violence of this beast must cease. There's a lion wait. I wonder who will wake him. Get up, nine. People's gonna stay down forever. 1997. Anyway, I'm with that. For 443 goddamn damnable years. The carpet has been laid strict. I see eagles gathered everywhere. Eagles still be gathered. Come on. Don't stop.
I'll be up to about 2 seconds.
She's a woman of few words.
Very Okay. The first thing I have listed is for my goals for 2020, 21, is salary survey. And this was on also a goal last year that we didn't get accomplished. Mayor and commissioners. It costs, I checked with UGA, and it costs about $30,000 for us to have the survey done, but that includes, yes. Yes, ma'am. But that includes job descriptions, reevaluating our job descriptions, job classifications, and then salary, preparing those things. So it's about $30,000. And then they'll come on site or do it however, there's particulars in it, but that's something we really need to get done. Because I think it's probably been about 6 years along since.
2004 or 5 last time we had.
Oh, is that?
Okay.
Yeah, there's a couple things.
Yes,
One is classification for full-time and salary, whatever, people's jobs change over time. And so
Right.
they may be salary, not going to hourly status or hourly status going, but all that's legal stuff. And Carl Vinson, they done one in, I think it was 1998 for us, they done one in 2005. And now, so that's one of the goals.
Yeah, I really would love for us to have this done. And then moving on to the next thing is our organizational succession planning, which is something else that I really, really want us to get started with, because in the next few years, it's gonna be a lot of us going out. And we need to have people in place that fall in behind us that, continue making things more smooth or whatever, just to upbuild our organization. The next thing I have is organizational learning, and this is more towards leadership. And for me, it's just, with our department directors, basically when I put this, I was thinking more in just learning, everybody's fair is their own fair or whatever, but just being fair to the employees, just good leadership. Because to me, it starts from the head. So we just need to make sure that we've got things in place that's proper and, and fair to all. And then, another thing I want to look at is the internal committees, because we've got several internal committees. We just want to make sure we've got all those committees filled to their capacity where they need to be. So I really want to make sure we got all of that in place. And then the last thing I have is revamping our safety and wellness program. We will be sending out, and I told y'all that the little mini retreat, I guess you can call it, or meeting that we had, that we're gonna be sending out surveys to see what the employees want concerning the safety and wellness, program. And we're gonna partner with Interactive Health, and with them, because we have to do a lot of manual stuff. With the program with Interactive Health, is things where the employees can go online and keep track of, things that they're doing. And this helps them to build points towards, because we want to have a healthy workforce. So this will, we want to get their ideas on what, what they would like to see happen, whatever, pretty much that's it. But then, and then get with Interactive Health, they're gonna help us set up a program where they can actually go online and keep track of things and earn points that way. And like I said, just, create a healthier lifestyle for them as well as far as health. Which will, help on the medical end for us, and maybe keep costs down, and then we could maybe look at monies from that savings to do, other things. Yeah. So that's basically the goals I have.
And on the safety and wellness program, in our latest health survey, where they come and do all our biometrics, we have a huge percentage of our workforce that is either diabetic, pre-diabetic, and then high cholesterol,
Yes,
whatever. So
high cholesterol was the top thing. We just had this meeting with them to go back over and it was unreal how, our workforce, the biggest thing was cholesterol, and then, like I said, diabetes was the next thing. That was,
So the whole thing about getting people to move, movement and less eating and more movement is where your cholesterol drops, where your diabetes drops, and all that kind of stuff, especially on your pre-diabetic stuff. So trying to get this stuff so it's automated, we can get stuff tracked. Right. Here again, in the old days, we was getting out walking, and that was good enough, but now you gotta be able to track it through Fitbits or whatever. You gotta give people points equal dollars, or purchasing stuff or whatever. And so anyway, we're trying to come up with that so that way we can entice people to move and eat less. So that way we don't have a huge case later on of a coronary disease or whatever it is. But that's a big health cost coming, is just cholesterol and stuff and diabetes. So that's
it was unreal. Obviously.
Diabetes, and blood pressure, it's changed over the years what the numbers are.
Mm-hmm.
Years ago, 40 years ago, a person 60 years old, the doctor would say your blood pressure was 160 over 80, it was good. And now they want it to be 110 over 80.
Mm-hmm.
So that has changed some too, and the numbers have
Change.
I just have a couple things. So, concerning planning for succession,
Succession planning?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Currently, do we have a list, since this commission just came in, this administration just came in January, so we got 4 years. But do we have a list of maybe, what, the next 3 years, who's gonna be?
No, that's what we're working on, and
Okay.
that's why I said we want to get that in place.
Okay.
And we've asked each department director to look in your department to see, see if you can eye those people,
Okay.
Who you think, and even the employees, what are they interested in?
Well, not putting them in a place to be there, but in terms of.
she's talking about the list of
who
people
will be
retiring.
retired.
Oh, yeah.
We have a list up through, I think,
Yeah.
through next year or year after, whatever, but
Next couple
we've got
years.
we've got a big bowl coming, 5 to 10 year range, just like in here. Probably 3/4 of this room is gone in the 5 to 10 year range.
Yes.
And I even say on the elected and on staffing side.
Right.
So successful, even like, I think I spoke with you the other day about that, even on the elected side. There's not a lot of people wanting to run for these seats.
Right.
And even if hopefully y'all still here 100 years from now. Some of y'all may not be here in 100 years. And so, there's not a lot of people, same way with staffing. Right now, we're in full employment part of the community, anywhere across the state. There's not a lot of people wanting jobs, so we've got to grow our own. And one thing we've got to identify those people in our range that truly, not because of agendas or because I want more
Right.
money or what,
Yeah.
people that truly care about whatever it is.
Yeah.
People who care about squeezing water out of poo-poo down at the wastewater treatment plant.
Yes.
We've got to identify those
Yeah.
people. People who like to go up there and lick those wires on top of those poles that can get lit up, we got to identify them. People who like crunching numbers or whatever, we've got to identify those people.
Everybody has a place.
And so we're, I don't want to touch the wire and I don't want to squeeze poo-poo. But anyway, there's those people in those workforces that enjoy those things.
Yeah.
And so anyway, and even like the department heads, when we have vacancies and stuff, whatever, there's always a debate about internal, external. Same way with hiring employees at entry level, internal versus external. And it's kind of like in the industry, we're talking about recruiting those external. But the big thing is growing your current industry, you're growing your current employees. And so anyway, so we've got a program we're getting ready to launch here in the next few weeks. It'll be the first initial successive planning group of people. And we'll be, it's going to be about a year and a half long program. Because I want to take them through the charter, the codes, the cross-training from a couple of different departments and stuff. Because a lot of our people don't even know what a lift station is, or where a cop bead is, or where all that kind of stuff. In order to be an effective department head or supervisor, or whatever, you need to know this stuff. Anyway, so we're going to be starting that and trying to identify these people because it's coming. And hey, and I told y'all this too. And if y'all ever crack the door on early retirement, I can tell you there'll be several people going early. Okay. And I know one really close by. Yes, sir.
That succession plan, one of the things that my other capacity, working for federal government, what the problem was is, like in my position, the young lady that I wanted to take my position, I started training her 3 or 4 years ago about what I was doing, how I was doing it, and why I was doing it. One of the problems is sometimes people don't want progress.
Right.
And what happens, and this is the part that I see that happens in municipality, is that it's 2020, and let's say Wagnetta is leaving in 2023. Well, she's trying to grow somebody. Hey, you need to be able to do this. Have them start taking you to some of these trainings with you. I'm gonna let you see what I'm doing. Hey, I can't give you no more pay, but I'm gonna give you more responsibility, and I'm gonna give you experience, right? So that when it's time for me to leave, you have the necessary skill sets and experience to move into it. Well, what unfortunately happens, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want to do that. So then when Wagnetta leaves, because this is institutional knowledge that's going to be walking out the door. Well, I don't want it. I don't want it. Wagnetta's gone. Now, I've been there the longest. I think I should get that job. Mayor Paul, I've been there the longest. It's a department head. Can you vote for me, this and that? Well, you didn't take the necessary steps to get qualified to put yourself in the best position. So, and I think I told one of my last trainings with Social Security, we were in a setting like this and we were talking about successive planning. And they were sitting up there talking about a manager stand up, yeah, Jonathan, he's probably good, but he needs to work on this, he needs to work on this. Everybody in there, out of those 40 people in there, everybody had somebody that was gonna take over, but they could identify a weakness. Well, when they got to me, say, who you got? I said, I got Jamie Daniel. Is she ready? You damn skip, is she ready? You know why? Because they're sitting up there taking notes. I'm sending instant messages to Jamie. Every time I ask a question, it's Jamie. Jamie had all the layouts, the slides, everything. So when it came time for me to retire, Jamie knew 100% of what I knew. It was an obvious choice. There was no, she didn't want to do it. Yeah, I kept her tail there late sometimes. Yeah, sometimes I gave her more. But when it came time to be competitive for that job, it was a no-brainer. And that's the part that I think that happens at the municipality level, is the person don't, because they're not getting any extra pay, but they're doing this job. You're not doing it for the pay. You're doing it as an investment for your career. For your career. So in 2023, okay, why do I need to go outside? Why Nella can say, hey, you've seen it, she's done this, or he's done this, and this, and this, and that. Seniority is fine, but seniority coupled with the knowledge and the experience and the skill set is what makes you valuable, not you rounding up 4 votes. And we end up losing this institutional knowledge. You just think about this right here. If she's gone, George is gone, Tom is gone, Terry's gone, and then Stanley is gone.
We love
Huh? Think about this right here. There's a lot of institutional knowledge that is going to walk out this door. So, and then if you don't have somebody that you've given this institutional knowledge to, now you got to bring somebody in. There's a learning curve. They got to learn the policies, the procedures, what we do and what we don't do. So that was always the big problem that we had. Yes, we had it all laid out, outlined, everything. How many people? We got 2. What you mean we got 2? How many we got in the state? 15. In the entire state, we got 15. But then, when that manager retired, oh, it should be my job. It should have been your job in 2020 when you wanted to start preparing for it. And I think that's always an issue. Thank you.
Tom? Yes.
I was just
Oh,
saying.
you said.
The other thing I had is that, regarding the, revamping safety awareness program.
Yes.
So currently, the city fitness center, is it still operative or?
It is.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
And there's employees that have key.
Key.
Yeah. And I think the keys are like $10
Oh, they're charging for keys?
for the keys.
And you
But
still
it
see
is.
Jefferson with for those?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. I think that's all I have, but yeah, it's important to cross train. I know before Mr. Jacobs left, he was trying to make sure that, you know, people were being cross trained so they'll be able to fill in and let others repair.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay.
Thank you. George, community development.
Okay, I'll just speak from my list. Under the administration, the goal, one that we have is the contract with the, regional commission to, and the community foundation, to produce, what we call an urban, for short, it's an urban redevelopment plan. It's gonna also encompass like the housing study. We wanna get that done, I don't think we're gonna get it done. Every month. We wanna get this done because it's gonna help us to better, know which grants we need to apply for, it's gonna help us for planning. The infill development is gonna help us to assess the housing stock that we have in our community, what type of housing is missing, the condition of the homes, and that's very important, to know. I don't know if y'all remember a couple years ago when Mr. Francis Lott was on his campaign about we need housing and high-end housing, temporary housing in the downtown area. And they got to talking about, a study, and the community foundation, made a commitment that they would fund it. Well, update our ERP plan. And so they agreed that they were funded, and we're gonna partner together with the, regional commission and also some students, I think from UGA, to assist with this. The regional commission sent their contract on this past Friday. Their portion, if we enter it with them, will be around, $13,000. But of course, we've got to sit and make sure that the, community foundation is still on board. The extent, because we asked them for it to, kind of survey the whole community and not just the target area. The regional commission is gonna have to subcontract that out with an agency. That part, they're having a time identifying because, I guess none of the communities that they service want anything that in depth, but we do. We want to really survey the condition and make a good plan that we can use for the next 10 years. Another goal of the administration is bring awareness to and encourage participation in the rules on tax credit. Not sure if everyone knows, beginning January 1st, we submitted an application last year. Douglas, certain area in the downtown, in the historic area, did get this designation. That means anyone who is opens a new business and they have to employ at least 2 full-time employees, they can get tax credit. They can claim it over a period of 5 years. Also, if they buy or rehab, so there's 3 different types. There's a job tax credit, rehabilitation tax credit, and an investment tax credit. So what we're doing now is getting a brochure, getting a PowerPoint together so we can communicate that to the CPAs, the lawyers, the accountants, all these different people, the realtors, to get the word out because although Douglas was designated this status, we have 5 years to make it work for businesses in our community. Another thing on administration is we're partnering with the, you know how things line up sometimes? We're partnering with the University of Georgia. They're gonna help us to put together a home buying guide. The students were looking for a project. We were looking for someone that can help us assimilate the information and get it put together. So one day the state just sent out an email. We were the first ones to respond. So they're doing that as a student project for us. And we should be unveiling that hopefully this April during Georgia Cities Week, whenever we do the housing fair during that Georgia Cities Week. Moving on to the airport. One of the goals that we have there is to pursue the partnership with the Georgia Airport Association, Wiregrass, the high school, and South Georgia State College. Our city manager has been leading a group. It's like an aviation committee that's comprised of these educational facilities. One thing going to the conferences that Howard and different ones realize is that there's a shortage in pilots and mechanics. So Douglas, just different things lining up. We're on the cusp of something great there. I know that the college, I think, is getting closer to some type of aviation degree. We're starting grassroots in the school level. We're starting to organize tours and how we're bringing more students out on the at the airport to introduce them to aviation. So we're gonna just continue that conversation. The next goal is to create an emergency protocol for accidents and to meet annually with public safety. As you all know, not too long ago, we had an incident at the airport. There was some confusion on the protocol that should be followed. We've since reviewed that, along with the state, put some guidelines in place that maybe we didn't have. And we're just gonna simply make sure that we meet annually with public safety, everyone's speaking the same language and know the protocol to follow. Another goal is to make the terminal and all facilities more pilot friendly. Sometimes whenever the airport is closed, I guess there is an increase with, people wanting to fly and buying planes. I'm talking about, we just, built those 16 hangars and we already have a wait list, so traffic and foot traffic coming through the airport is increasing. And as we get student pilots out there, there's just a need for them to spread maps out. So in the budget this year, we're gonna try to put some things in there to kind of open up the airport office a little more, and then put up a door where they can only go so far, and then they can have access to, hopefully like a little computer station and that sort of thing. We wanted to try to, seek out an opportunity to contract hay on unused portions of the airport. We've done some land uses before, but through talking at, FAA, they're saying that hay can be like a habitat for birds, and you know, birds and planes don't quite go well together. So we are reassessing that. Howard is going to, a meeting next week. He's on the airport board, and he's gonna talk more about that, with that group, because other airports are leasing out land and growing hay on the airfield, and maybe they just didn't know it. But we definitely don't wanna do it if it's gonna, be a habitat for birds. We don't want that type of accident. We, going on to the next division, we've already covered code enforcement this morning, so I'm gonna skip on down to grants. One thing we're trying to do, and I just wanna make sure everyone knows, the way community development is structured, we used to have a grants administrator and a grants writer. Whenever Ken Floyd retired, the city never hired a grants writer. So Ken Hayes, I said Ken Floyd, Ken Hayes. So we have Christian Michael now, she's doing a great job, I feel like she is. We've spent time going to different conferences, learning about grants, getting ourselves re-certified in some areas, where we had fallen short on some certification that would allow us to apply for certain grants. So some of the different grants, and this is for our department. Now, when we get grant updates, we send it out to different departments and share with them. We discussed it in the management meeting that if there's a grant you want to pursue, each department either kind of let us know, so either we can budget in our budget as matching funds, or either they budget it. But we contract with the regional commission, y'all know that, to write a lot of the bigger grants. But some of the small ones, we have been tackling them, and I'm trying to write those. So we plan to go after, some of the funding from the Department of Natural Resources, Historic Preservation Grant Fund, the, Greenway Trails, there's more grants out there for that, the, community housing, but there are certain tools that we need in place. I tease the city manager all the time, hey, there's some tools I need in my toolbox. And that ERC plan is one of them. And that makes for what we're trying to do with aggressive code enforcement. That is gonna open it up in the years for us to come to even go bigger with more of the housing rehab and even reconstruction of houses, grants out there. Some of the grants, we are focusing on a lot of our historic properties, because we know we have the historic air base out there, and it needs some tender love and care. So we're trying to go through the Historic Preservation Commission now that we're recertified through them, to get some of those grants. Going on to public information, what we're gonna do is, seek funding for additional LED signs to go at the gateways. I know we put up the gateway signs. And just, last other week, thanks to Mike helping, all putting power down there on this, north end of town, the inner split section, Mike Neal Drive, down there by Wells Flash Food, what is it now? Okay, that's the one. There's a sign up now. When y'all ride by, take a look, we have one, and, city manager's pretty smart, he didn't give us a whole lot of money. He told us to buy one, demo it, make sure it's what we need, because we sure would hate to buy 3 of them and it's junk. So it looks pretty good, we go test it out, and, but if it works, we wanna budget to get 2 more. We wanna create a PR plan to increase the awareness, as I said, it ties back to what I was saying about the rural zone, and we wanna produce a guide to municipal services. Some of y'all probably remember a few years ago, we did a little brochure, but our city, we have grown in initiatives and services and questions that we get, so, Bonnie wanna take that on and create a guide, and make it interactive where we can put it on our website. It's gonna involve every department so that we can, accurately catalog our services and make it easier for newcomers to our services and to this community to know what we as a city offer. So, we have other goals that we're working on internally in our department. A those are the pertinent ones that we pulled out to share with you all today. Y'all have any questions?
Are we looking at anything, do we have enough traffic for to do anything concerning transportation?
Not the transit system?
Yes. Or is there not enough?
That may be a city manager question.
Matter of fact, I just in a meeting last week about that. The hospital and college, into something or whatever. And so we are in the infancy stages of talking about that. But it's just money. You know what I'm saying? It's just money.
And you mentioned DOT training, I attended at GMA, there's funds for small
Right.
areas.
And we're talking about that.
Okay.
Matter of fact, we're looking at it through this health grant we've got, to talk about transit. Some form of a small transit, not nothing like you see.
Yeah. But when I was at campaign, several people were asking me about, they need assistance to get up.
You know, it might be something simple, you know, we have Uber, in Georgia, it may be called Goober. And, you know, we'll start that one, but anyway, but we are talking about that.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Good job. I'm just gonna ask you too, or just wanna say, I've heard bits and pieces about potentially a movie or something like that with our airport and historic thing. I'd love to see that, some.
We've explored it some, but we'll continue.
Yeah, that would be great.
It's a tool.
If, yeah, if that could get some.
As a matter of fact, like I said, we was contacted over Christmas, I don't know where we're following this. The Avengers, the movies, The Avengers, that's why I sent out Mike, and we had to get all the people to clean our streets up and stuff, make sure they were in town looking to see if they wanted to film some of the next Adventures. There's a new series coming out, and Douglas was one of the cities, in the running. They would come in here, totally disrupt everything for about 3 months. But they would pay the people who had the shops and stuff, whatever, for the disruption or whatever. Haven't heard back from them, but a lot of times they go in and scout, they go quiet, they go back to Hollywood or wherever, they do whatever, and make their decisions, and then call us, whatever. But we are now, since we are a camera-ready town or whatever, we are on their list now.
That's right, that's good news. Thank you, Chairman.
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, I'm gonna start with training with billing, AMI, customer service skills. What I've been doing is, our billing department, we've been going to training for Tyler with Encode, and I send usually 2 to 3 employees a year to attend. This year I have 3 that's going, one is a cashier and 2 in billing. They'll be going in April. Then I have for the AMI training, Tantalus, usually I have about 2 to 3 also go. This year I'm gonna have, of course, Jan, she's our AMI coordinator, she will be going, but I have, 2 utility techs that have been working with the smart grid kind of closely with her, so they will be attending those conferences as well. For his customer service classes, as Chief said, that we, and not just him, it's been other department directors have expressed concerns of how our customer service is with the public, and we want to beef that up. So, like I told everyone earlier, that I talked to Chad and I talked to Tammy, and we're going to try to come up with a curriculum so that when we do teach this class, you have to put teeth to it. The thing that I asked her about is that if you take this class, you need to sign to state that you took it, you understood what the city is expecting from you. So then, if the police department gets a complaint, or if someone called Commissioner Pearson and said, I was treated wrong, they was nasty to me, or whatever, they've signed this paper stating they've taken this class. So it's not just gonna be me, but with the city manager and everyone to look at this curriculum to make sure this is what we wanna do. For networking with schools, for participation with Teen Court and Youth Council, I can say that goal has been filled. Last week, myself, the mayor, and my team coordinator, Ms. Dinesha Williams, we had a meeting with CCA along with Dr. Lees regarding getting our young people in the community more active with youth council and teen court. And actually, CCA just, sent me a text and said they had an overwhelming response of kids wanting to participate in the program. Also, we have something that Georgia, now GMA has taken a part in the youth council. It's called Georgia Youth Advisory Committee. The mayor has been asked to serve on that committee, part of it with the state. Also, it's about 9 to 10 cities that have youth councils. And so every year now, they have youth summits. Last week, along with our community development director, helped me, assist me with doing a RFP so that the city of Douglas can host 2021 Youth Summit. And we won that bid, so we will be hosting that. Another thing is we're gonna, I wanna educate the public, not only the public on our youth programs, but I do wanna educate our mayor and commission and our staff. If I can, I want to read this letter from our junior mayor pro tem. She says, "Dear Mr. Tony Polk and Commissioners, I would like to thank you all for the amazing opportunity of allowing us to attend the Georgia Municipal Association City United Summit. I can personally say that this experience was truly enlightening. I was able to make many connections with other youth from other cities. During our free time, we were able to network and learn how other cities run their youth councils. On the first day, I was given the opportunity to speak about how we run our meetings and speak of some of the things we have done and projects we are currently working on. I was also able to speak about team court, which is another activity I'm extremely fond of. Our speakers were very enlightening and taught us about how, in order to make a better society, you must first learn to do things. Respect yourself and respect others. We also learned about the 7 characteristics to being a great leader: resilience, empowerment, sociable, power, empathy, character, and trustworthy. Don't worry if you ever forget one, just think of respect. I hope you all can see just how much we have learned during our trip, and I can say this trip taught me so much about getting out of my comfort zone and just how your actions can make a change in the atmosphere. Thank you again, yours sincerely, Anna Paulina Escobar, Junior Mayor Pro Tem." And I think we can look at this because my thing of it is that I want this community to understand that we have established and implemented some very good programs. Youth councils, there are very few. We're probably just 10. We have the team court. It is very important to this youth council and team court that they get the support, not from parents. They're looking out to see if our staff is involved. They're looking to see if our mayor and commission are involved. This is what's important to them, is that we are involved in what they're doing, because it's a poor fraud that doesn't praise their own kind. And this is called the City of Douglas Youth Council, the City of Douglas Team Court. So I encourage you all that not only, because in order for, I can't educate the public by myself, because if you're a part of the City of Douglas, they're gonna ask you what kind of programs and what this program is about. So I encourage you to try to take some time out to come and just sit an hour at the Mayor's Youth Council meeting. It's only about an hour. Last month, we had standing room only. There was no place for someone to really sit. Yeah, no place. And team court as well, we're doing very well with that. So again, I encourage you all to please be a part of that, so that not just I educate, but that we all can educate the public on what we have, because these are great programs. And this was cut back on crime, cut back on different things, because not only we're doing the youth council team court, but we're now coming together with the AIM program, Ambitious Young Men, the Fly Girls, First Love Yourself mentoring program, Mary Hayes Center, Boys and Girls Club. We have now come together to try to unify and that we can do things together as a team. Our phone system, customer care. The reason the thing with the phone system is basically what I'm trying to do, and some other departments may want to do the same thing, is basically not have our employees holding the phone like this and typing. Because they need to have a phone where we can have something on their ears, they can hear clearly. I was looking at some systems where you have something on, little ear, things on your ear. They have the kind that the customer can hear you, but not hear background. And we're so closed up that you can't help, and I don't want customers, I don't want Miss Smith to hear what's going on with Miss Jones' account. You know, so those are some of the things that I'm looking for, especially the health, for the health wise for our employees. Again, the customer service classes, certified 311 call center. Our department is a member of the Association of Contact Centers for Professionals, and that's where we get to learn about the different things about doing better customer service and what we need to bring our community in. So we are a part of that, and they have something that said that we can be certified, and that's something that I am working on. Any questions, anything that I missed, or, no? Yes, sir.
I got 2 points here. The first point, customer service. As everyone knows, I've been in customer service for a long time. And one of the things is, everybody that we be able to check to, they was never mad. They were never mad. Understand me? They never wrote out a complaint. It was that individual that we didn't give a check. They came there for a service and they didn't qualify for that service. So what they did is in turn lashed out. It's not always that employee, and I will speak as a manager at Social Security. It's not always that employee, whether code enforcement or at our call center or human resources or the fire department or the police department. It's not always that employee. Sometimes that customer service thing is about, I didn't get what I want. Well, the rules said that you couldn't get it. I had a guy come in there one time. He went all the way, to Baltimore to complain against me that he wanted his retirement benefits. I told him no. He was 49. The rule is 62. But guess what? He filed a formal complaint against me. He wasn't qualified, but I was rude, I was disrespectful, and I showed no sympathy towards his situation. It was just no. And sometimes I would suggest, as I deal with my employees, is we want to tell everybody yes until the policy says we have to say no. Because the policy is going to dictate. And that's one of the things that I've learned. Regardless of how you paint a situation, when it comes time for resolve, first thing we're going to do is pull out the policy. That's the first thing. So let's be mindful. True customer service is being able to provide a service to an individual that don't even know that they need your help. Okay?
And I do agree on that, Mayor, and the thing of it is, when I tell people that, if I can tell my staff, when I go to a restaurant, if they got bad food and good customer service, I probably go back and try you again.
Mm-hmm.
But if you got good food and bad customer service, I'm not gonna, I don't care how good your food is.
Right.
So the thing that we have to, I have to tell them is that a customer, if they got a $600 light bill, guess what? If you go, look, what can I do to help you? Because they don't wanna hear, I can't help you, I can't say, well, I just can't help this, the policy. I just say, well, tell me, what do you think I can do to help you? You know, and let me see if I can
That's
help
right.
you.
Right.
And that way, they start changing, their
Right.
demeanor start changing. So like I tell myself, it's just the words that you bring out that will, you know, and not everybody's gonna, I ain't saying it's gonna happen all the time, you know, cause you're gonna have some that's gonna keep trying.
Right.
But, and they'll wait till they get to, you know,
A
to
yes.
you guys.
A yes.
Yeah, and they may never get the yes, but you
Correct.
just, people are upset because they don't understand and they feel like they've been pushed against the wall.
Correct.
And
And the person that's dealing with them don't care. When you let them know you're concerned about their situation by
Right.
saying, well, what can I do? What do you think I can do?
Right.
You know, that puts a different spin on it. But I got this $600 light bill and I can't pay it, and I'm finna be in the dark, and you acting like, oh, well, you just finna be in the dark.
Right.
That ain't gonna help me none at all with my attitude, you know what I'm saying? But if I know you care that I don't have the money, that will make me feel better. Yeah, I mean, you ain't got $600 to give me, but at least you're concerned that I don't have it. That means a
Or
lot.
find me some resources.
Or help me find some resources that could help me.
But I can say, after going to clerk's conference this week, that was one of the #1 topics that we talked about, is about utility bills. And all of us said the same thing, that our citizens are saying, we got the highest bills where we stay, you know. And I said, well, that's what my people say. I said, do y'all get blast on Facebook? I'm like, yeah. I said, well, we gonna have to start sharing and put this thing together, because my city of Douglas think we the only ones. They'll say, well, I called my cousin in Florida bill, and one of the clerks, she said, I started telling you, you know, you might want to go with your cousin then, because this is the bill. So it's not, I've learned that I don't take it personal,
Right.
because our bills are just like everybody else. It's just we're live in this right here. It's like we live in our hourglass, so people are not really looking at it. So this is unified. It's everybody talking about utility bills. It's based on where you live. So.
As the member takes her seat, you know, I'm gonna talk to you about, the Mayor's Youth Council and, Teen Court. If you wanna be impressed, their meeting, you need to get there about 15, 20 minutes early. They take those seats, those chairs, and they're ablaze very, very seriously. You understand? And if you get the opportunity to sit there and talk to them, they're a lot smarter than what you think they are. They're a lot smarter than what you think they are.
And they don't like y'all leaving stuff in their place.
Oh yeah. Because the mayor told me, who name up here? I was like, oh, yes ma'am. So, but then in teen court, it's the same thing. We are educating individuals on the judicial system. We talked to Dr. Leaf last week. The school is putting together a proposal where they are going to try to incorporate the youth council and teen court, and have a courtroom out at the school so that the young adults can go through and get credits towards graduation. And my last thing, so Charlie can move us about, is when we were in Atlanta, and Wynetta pointed it out to me. This youth council come in, they all look the same. This youth council come in, they all look the same. Here comes another one, they all look the same. You can tell us, boy, we was all over the place. You know what I mean? We have a little salt and pepper in there, Hispanic, you name it. A true representation of our community. And I am telling you, these young adults are all in. They are fully engaged. And let me say this right here. And Charlie, you go ahead. Don't tell them nothing and don't think they won't Google it. You understand me? They will challenge you and say, that ain't right. That ain't right. But we get the opportunity, when Tammy was up there talking about successive planning, that's what we're doing now with our leaders. We're trying to teach them the right way, not a mythological way. Not a mythological way, because this mythological way is not what's going to transform the city of Douglas in the next 30 or 40 years. As we were at the barbershop talking about what's going on in city government, county government, state and federal, I said, why don't y'all shut up and listen to the guy that's getting his haircut that's 15 years old? Well, why do I want to do that? Because that's who's going to be running this daggone country in 10 years. You understand? What does he think, and why are we not talking to him to tell him how it's been and how he may be able to improve it? So I am telling you, I implore you to get involved with the youth on any level. We've come together to try to build a coalition, trying to come together and have one calendar. So we don't have 12 events with 12 different organizations on the same day. Our last anti-bullying march probably had 125 children or young adults or better, correct? So it's improved. Thank you.
Next, we find the next phone.
We got
No, it won't be. Harold has 2 M's on the last name.
Right.
So I'm only gonna give you a half one. All right, as y'all heard the audit, we had the FY19 audit, we had a real good audit year. We started foreseeing that we will be cranking up, of course, we did along on the FY20, so of course we will have a successful audit year for FY20. Also, we have, we started our budget process for FY21, and, so everybody got emails and, to get started on that and prepare, and then we start cutting and get it to the point where we bring it to y'all, so we'll have successful on that.
You said the ad meeting, right?
Pardon?
You said the ad meeting, several ads, right?
Mine said 25.
I'm sorry, I can't hear. Also, one of the goals, of course, is updating the policy to include purchasing policy, so it all sort of kind of flows together. But one of the really major things is y'all know that our police department went with Smart Cop, and that's the software. The problem is our court system and the software they were on was called MDS. And MDS is no longer being supported, so when it dies, it dies. The problem is our municipal court system is still on MDS, so what those ladies are having to do in municipal court is for every ticket being written by the officer now, which we have an increase in tickets, so all those tickets now have to be manually taken out of the Smart Cop and manually keyed into MDS. So it's working them. So we've had 2 different software companies coming in and demonstrate to us. We were about to make the decision when then there was an issue whether we were going with Smart Cop or moving away from Smart Cop. So finally the decision was made, mainly by the county, that they were going to stay with Smart Cop. So we are going to move quickly on getting a new software system for our municipal court so that the tickets put in the Smart Cop can just be a button press and it's all the data's inside of their system, their software. And so that's the pinky really, other than what we normally do on a year-to-year basis in finance. So, any questions?
So probably how much we talking to be able to have them to
Yeah, about 38,000. And that'll be coming for y'all in the next 4 to 5 weeks. We had to wait on before we made a final decision to stay with Smart Cop, because if we changed 911/law enforcement software, you don't know if the next company can interface with the next company or whatever, but since now we've made a decision in the last couple of weeks to stay with Smart Cop, there was some issues that we had to work to resolve with the company. Now we've made that decision, they're working through the issues, now we can move forward with the court software.
Okay.
So we'll be bringing that, in the next little bit too.
Yeah, so we need to work smart, not hard.
Yeah, that's right. And they're putting in some overtime to get it done too.
Right, I can imagine.
So, any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, still I know the same.
French.
French.
Real briefly, we're basically gonna continue doing the best we can as cheap as possibly. Some things cost money, and what we do about that. We're gonna continue to strive to do the best we can with what we got. We do wanna finalize our purchase. You guys have approved the purchase of the aerial truck. So Tommy, I'm probably gonna get my 25% increase in budget this year, but that's SPOSH funded, best I understand, which we also
After that, start the purchase process of the new engine. So that's coming later in the year. Continue with career development, something fire department does very well is get ready for the next step. We have task books, we have firefighter and engineer task books, lieutenant task books, shift officer task books, and it's a series of classes of education to get that point. We want to continue to progressively plan for our structured firefighting gear, our SCAs. Heard Mr. Davis speak earlier on that. It is a large sum of money if you have to buy all at one time. So keep doing that. We want to keep steadily purchasing small amounts instead of having to ask for $300,000 for the clip. The Smart Cop program has bit the fire service too. Unfortunately, as may be, it seems to be very much so geared to cops and nobody else. They're very proprietary on things. So the ECMs, e-dispatch, stuff that fire service, EMS uses don't tie into it very well. They won't support one another. So we're exploring that to be able to effectively manage callback situations where have a large fire, have to call people back. We're going to keep training, 240 hours a year per man is our goal. We want to make sure we got that, we get that done. Going to do it the best we can. Want to keep working with Georgia Fire Academy. We have several of our guys now that are instructors for the Fire Academy, which might seem like a nuisance, but it's great to be able to call and say, hey, I want to host a class in Douglas, and we get 30 of our guys into it. So it's a lot cheaper for me to send one man a couple of times than it is 30 to get it, and that in turn, I hate to say this, one hand washes the other. We help them, they help us. We send somebody to help teach a class, they let us host a class here, and we get our department in it, and we save on travel expense, food, accommodations for it there. So it all goes out on, I told you, 3 minutes. How am I doing on that? You said I had to.
245.
All right, 2:45, all right. We're gonna keep doing inspections, pre-plans, tours. We want to get back working with code enforcement on doing our occupancies and certificate occupancies and load numbers. I know we stopped that program, but at some point we got to pick that back up. Continuing fire safety education this past year, as y'all know, October Fire Safety Month. We got back to doing something that we hadn't done in a long, long time, which is send our guys and one piece of our equipment out to the county to represent the city of Douglas Fire Department at the county schools as well as the city schools. That's great. That is pretty good that they're actually calling us, asking us to come. So we don't call and ask them if we can come, but when they call and ask if we'll come do the entire third grade exercise, we won't be able to show up. So that's our goals, our plans. Of course, we have a lot of other goals too. That pretty well hits the highlights of it. Any questions?
How are we on, manpower?
Right now, we're working on finalizing 2. Where's Tammy?
Yes.
Well, just interviewed 2 this week. They're supposed to be going for drug testing and physicals, doctor physicals this coming week. And if they do, that'll put us back at 10 men per shift. So, any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Young.
Good evening once again. We at Parks and Recreation, we try to be a reflection of our community through diverse programming and diversity of our staff. Even just today, of course, we've been here in the Teen Center, in the Magnolia Room, there's an event going on. In the Dogwood Room, there's an event going on. And of course, we have our 4-year kids in the gym playing basketball today. And if I'm correct, maybe something's going on in the Weir Center later on today. And I'm certainly had an event on yesterday here. So we have quite a few things going on just here facility-wise on this campus. We welcome the fire department with any event. We welcome, I hope when you say that the youth council, youth organization is going to be hosting something, I hope we hope they be hosted here. I think early in Roger's presentation spoke about a Adopt a Park program. We presently have an Adopt a Park through Parks and Recreation. Maybe about 2 years ago, we began that. Matter of fact, the Boys and Girls Club officially has adopted Willow Park. Now, whether or not they're actually doing anything, as a fact, if you say you're going to adopt the park and you put a sign up, you don't keep going, we're going to get that sign down. Because you're not doing anything. It is what it is. You know, so actually go to the City of Douglas website and click on the tab, your Parks and Recreation, and you just search in, you hit adopt the park, you'll see that particular contract and all the information pertaining to adopt the park. So we want to continue to enhance that, and whatever Roger, the code enforcement do to help enhance that, we all aboard on that. We always want to enhance whatever we do. I used to say we try to offer a program from 5 to 95, you know, but now we have a man that's gonna be recognized, look at Commission Board just looking like that. We're gonna have a gentleman that's gonna be acknowledged at the next mayor commission meeting. He's 96. So I go older, he actually made it to June, he'll be 97, but he's been actively involved in our program. So actually, we'll go from 5 until the tomb, until you get in your tomb, because you know, we're gonna offer perpetual care at the city of Douglas. There you go, at the city of Douglas cemetery. We want to make sure we have that there, you know, we still need to take care of it. Perpetuity, we're gonna take care of it. But some of the things we want to do in the future, they're already in the works. Of course, the miracle field, that's it, they're already completed over the miracle field, a new swimming pool, athletic complex, I guess it's called, no, at the fairground, I think it's Lions. I have to say the change, I want to say it's Lions, but that site out there, continue to work with the utilities department, code enforcement department, public safety, marketing department, HR, it's all the departments, you know, we reach quite a few people. I'd be remiss not to mention Terry Fesserman there, because we have builders get there and get them in and get them out pretty expeditiously. So we appreciate that, Terry, when we need them going. We want to make sure that we complete the Greenway Trail. I think we started at Alonzo Park, from Alonzo Park to North Madison Park. Thanks to Charlie and ESG, we cleaned it up a little bit. Now that's kind of connected. We want to have that connectivity with all our public park areas. So we would like to have the Greenway Trail completed. We like to go from Jordan Stadium to South Georgia College. You know, from the south end of town to north, and the north to south. And we go get on the Greenway Trail and walk it. You know, Chief Edmondson has talked about this and question about getting motorized vehicles or something on there. So that's up for discussion. You know, but we want to make sure that we have access, be accessible to all of our parks, one way or another. I would certainly like to encourage the mayor and commission to seriously think about within the next several budget cycles, at least 4 budget cycles, start allocating funds for our aging children. You know, yeah, we have service agreements and contracts and service boilers, chillers, cooling towers. We have people come outside, not just our staff today. We pay people come and service them, but after 20, 25 years, things break down. And when those children around on now, maybe the unexpected cost of $75,000. You know, so this something to think about, and just to think about this. I'm saying automatically we have a contingency fund, but I just know those children are aging. They're aging. Of course, in the building that we have, aging buildings. I guess when nothing ever brought to your attention about something that's good, you know, I think last year maybe we had the retreat here, year before last, and probably after say, Steve, did you see those busted receptacles there? Or Steve, did you see the cable from the TV thing out right there? So I hadn't heard anything. I hope I hadn't spoken too soon, because you know, we try to wax the floors periodically, depending on what's going on in these buildings, in terms of how often we will wax and clean them. We kind of painted this room over, you know. Maybe last year once Charlie said they put lipstick on the pig, but at some point we're gonna come just put that lipstick on until we get more funds, until we get some new facilities built. We're gonna do that. Re-upholster those chairs in the little extra room, the little TV room right there. Clean the carpet basically weekend. Matter of fact, after this retreat is over, we're gonna get in and change that or replace that carpet in there. So we're constantly doing things. Also in the future, let's get cameras in our park. I know Chief would love to have that. I certainly like to have cameras in all of our parks, you know. I think a while ago, I think we started with a smart grid, correct me, and they were all tied with cameras in all the systems. Maybe smart grid now, maybe not be the smart grid now. Been a couple of years ago, we would like to have that tied in all of our parks, all the neighborhood parks. Continue to work on the aesthetics of our parks. You know, back in my day and some other people's days in here, when we talk about playground equipment in the park, you just get a seesaw or a merry-go-round and things of individual pieces. But now it's pretty much play systems. And play systems gonna cost you $45,000, $50,000. So you know they're cheap, depending on what you want to put into it. So there's something we certainly need in our parks, all of our parks. You know, some play systems, something. East Side Park, we have some aging equipment. Actually, every park that we have is gonna have some playground stuff, and it's rather old. It's real old. You know, once again we put that lipstick on this stuff. We'll paint it. We're gonna paint it. If it's damaged and can't be repaired, we're gonna take those pieces away and get it out of there. We're gonna take care of it. But we certainly need to make sure So we try to get some stuff in those parks. We know, the Community Foundation of Coffee County, I'm being correct that name, they have adopted Willow Park. Not that they're gonna say that's gonna go, but we want to make sure, that they're not, to hope that more organizations and groups and individuals will get involved in all our parks, you know, for each neighborhood. I firmly believe that, I shouldn't expect Tommy, I'm sure Tommy has the heart to do it, to adopt, to take a significant interest in the Roundtree Park. Tommy doesn't live in that neighborhood. You know, I mean, you may have the heart to do it. I would expect Miss Olivia to take a significant interest in a park out at Jordan Stadium. I mean, we would like to, but I guess I want people to take it. If it's in your backyard, in your neighborhood, have a vested interest in that particular park. Jackson subdivision, I encourage the citizens, the residents of Jackson subdivision help us out. Commissioner tell we've been in conversation and fence being down. As soon as they take it down, we're gonna put it up. 24 hours later, Commissioner Taylor called and said they taking the fence down again. We're gonna continue to put it up. We're gonna do it. But at some point, I don't know what, get cameras out there, we just need assistance. Don't have unlimited funding to continue to do it. But until it get worked out, if they take it down, Commissioner Taylor, we can go back and put that top rail back up and continue to do it. We will do that, continue to do that. Improve that online registration experience. We have online registration right now, a few kinks in there. Been in conversation with Tommy, oh wow, how long have we been down? We had a credit card readers up front. I think when Scott first came and put them up, boy, I was jumping for joy. We finally have them. Maybe they weren't working, you know, so the citizens can do it themselves right there. We can take their card and swipe it, but it'd be so much convenient. We got the credit card reader right there, their citizens can go and swipe and type their own information in. So little things like that, little small things, the small foxes that can become a problem when you had that credit card reader down for a year. You know, but there I thought it was gonna get fixed. And it's not no fault of ours, no fault of Tommy's, it's just I guess the Bridgeport and whatever type of software, whatever, it's not communicating. So I mean, hope that works out rather soon. And I know a while back there was a commission that had said, came over a quote unquote a laundry list. I don't know exactly what a laundry list is of the community park. I know all of our parks have agent equipment in it, and we're gonna work on each park, not just Roundtree Park, not just Unity Park, not just Emma Park. If there's a park and you see a building need some attention, need some care, we're gonna make sure we take care of it. You know, it doesn't matter about your socioeconomic status, whom you know, who you don't know. You know, we're gonna treat everyone the same. We're gonna get equal shake. And as always, like the air visit, why never harp on it, and everyone in here, customer care, improve customer care, quality customer care. And like I said, once again, we want our staff to reflect the people that we serve in our community. So we're gonna have diverse staff, and we're gonna continue to do that. And I think I try to go through as quick as I could and hit as many points as I could. I worked much better. There's some questions for me, and I can certainly try to answer them just in my way. Yes, sir.
I have one comment, and this is when you said children, that they were aging.
Yes, sir.
I was in a conversation with Dr. Lease a few months ago, and I said, man, you know, I'll be out at the new high school to watch the basketball game. He said, Mary, you know that was built in 1995. I'm like, what? He said, everybody still refers to it as the new high school. It's 2 decades old. Think about it.
Built 94.
94? So my thing is this right here. When I heard chillers, you know, these buildings that were built a couple decades ago, or if not longer, you know, I heard somebody say, oh, we're going down to the new city gym. What new city gym? Central Square. Man, that thing is 30 years old. But I think that we still, as the series, I think we have good bones. But we have to go in and not just put paint on there. We need to start getting a list to say, okay, look, in 5 years, we want to replace this chiller. I was telling Steve, I said, look, man, it's time to rip up some of this old tile and stuff and put some new tile in here.
Amen, bro.
So it makes it look better, that you can just give it a facelift.
Yes.
So, but I am in full support of trying to give our facilities the necessary love and care that it needs. Because I don't think we're tearing these buildings down no time soon. So we have to come up with some funds to reinvest. Because all of a sudden, when a chiller goes down, but there's a Saturday, and it goes down on Friday, and we got to tell 400 kids, plus their parents and grandparents, it's hot in there, we can't do this.
Remember 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, we went trying to get those fans, we hosted the tournament that Saturday morning and Friday night, we went out on us and in the gym, and it was, ooh. Yes,
That's
sir.
right. So we need to come up with some type of itemized list to start. You know, I would say this right here. The same thing we do with like with a police car, it has a certain life expectancy. I think that maybe our chillers and stuff probably have went past their life expectancy. That was my only comment, sir.
I thought there was a conversation one time about the American Legion, the Ron Loving group trying to adopt a park. It might have been a conversation that I had with Willis, I can't remember.
I know there has been a conflict, right, me with the American Legion, I knew there was a Sonic Lodge, I believe.
Yeah, they took a
Round Tree Park, yes. And I was searching, we'll try to get back out there, cause if there's a time that we need that adopt the park active, I can say I'm gonna adopt the park and get me a good photo shoot and you know, and get some kids out there one day and cook some hot dogs, but what's gonna be like 3 months after, when the spring season over, lots going on. So we would like to have it as active, we want active participation in that program. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Everybody said skip me, but I've already covered my goals when I did my thing a while ago. Y'all wondering. Everybody said, he skipped you. Already covered it.
All right, already good.
As you know, the warehouse basically tries to keep all supplies necessary to serve our public and serve it on a very timely basis. Get the guts for whether it be sewer stocked up or whatever the case may be, and then need parts repaired. We try to make sure that we've got all the parts they need to get the job done and satisfy our customers. Second one is revision of the purchasing manual. Purchasing manual hasn't been revised since 2008. There's a lot of changes been made in it, part of the tower system, doing everything electronically, and thresholds of spending's changed and all that. We've already completed the revision of the purchasing manual, and it's been sent to finance to tie their part into it so we can do it all at one time. And, you know, hopefully by the end of this year or before, we should be able to carry that after city manager reviews it. Carry that for y'all for approval, so we'll have the updated financial and purchasing manual revision. Again, that's excessive. Training. Ever since I took over the purchasing agent for city, I've been doing that. I've already been successful training. I've sent both of my people at the warehouse to several seminars, sent them to Atlanta. Both of my people, the warehouse coordinator and the warehouse tech / administrative secretary, they're both state certified in procurement. And hopefully they will be ready whenever I retire. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Fill in my.
All right. Get some good stuff here. See if I can get the notes put up here. Do you not have my tab?
There it is.
Yeah, you might get it back up on the phone.
start with electric. Plans for electric this year is to continue to upgrade LED lighting, to LED lighting. We have a lot of people who want LED lighting, very expensive upgrade for us. We have upgraded most of our major highways and streets. We have started upgrading some of our actual, what we call rental light customers, motels, hotels, car dealerships that we have in contract. Just to give you an idea of the cost on that, we did the airport entryway all the way through. It was about $30,000 to change all those lights to LED. So it's a very expensive process. That's why we're trying to piecemeal this in. When we have problems with lighting in a parking lot, we try to go ahead and change them all at one time, but they really don't match up when you try to piecemeal them in, so we've been changing the entire thing. So we'll continue that process. We're gonna start to implement our new 2025 work plan. It's being actually completed right now by McLean Engineering. Our last work plan would have actually officially ended June 30th of 2020. We finished it early. So we will allow in the new budget about $300,000 for that work plan. Going forward, our work plans will mainly be looking at cutting the switches into the system where we can isolate certain sections. Just like the other night, we had the big tree fall on 158 when the storm came through. We have a OCR there at the CCA school. Instead of that whole circuit being down, that OCR opened up and only had the circuit dead from CCA out to the end of our service area, which is Westwood Heights. So we'll be strategic trying to cut more of those automatic reclosures in, so we don't have a whole circuit down at a time when we have something like that happen. Continue to provide the high level of service that we give, not only during regular hours, but after hours. That's one of our biggest selling points. People brag on us all the time about how quick we get the power back on when it is out. Got a great staff, and mainly a great system. I thank the mayor and commission before you guys and the current ones that have allowed us to put, just like this situation the other night, if we'd have had wooden arms and cheap poles and cheap wire in there, that tree wouldn't have hung on those wires, it would have broken in two. So instead of an outage being 30 minutes, like we had, it would have been probably 3 hours. So thank you guys for that, for allowing us to spend the money to make this system what it is. The other big capital purchase in the electric department this year will be a new digger derrick truck. We've got a situation that with ESG, the crane we now have is not OSHA certified, so every time they need to use that crane, I'm having to send one of the electric employees to run that crane. We have since started letting them use our big digger derrick truck. They can run it safely, so we're gonna pass that digger derrick truck to ESG, either trade or sell our smaller digger derrick truck and purchase a new digger derrick truck. So that's the plan. That will be, you'll be seeing that in the budget when we get to budget time.
And how much you talking about the new digger truck?
Somewhere between $200,000 and $225,000. They're not cheap. If you'll recall, we bought a new bucket truck last year that we bought a smaller model bucket truck that we'd normally spend about that same amount of money that we're talking about on digger derrick, but we bought that truck about $125,000. So, we've spec'd it out. We have not got any budget figures back yet, but I'll have more of an idea once we get those budget figures in. That's estimated cost. And then one utility truck for Juaneta's department. Me and her kind of share a unique thing. The utility tech budget actually is in my budget, but she actually administers that. So we will be asking for one record pickup, about $26,000. So that's the main part of the capital for the electric budget. Any question on electric before we move away from electric? Okay, gas department. We're going to continue to upgrade or remove galvanized services found in the distribution system. PSC has mandated that all gas systems have all galvanized service out of their system by 2022, December of 2022. We actually plan on having ours out by the end of 2020. We took a little more aggressive approach. We've got about 115 left. We did a major insertion program when I first moved here back in 2009. We did miss a few. We did a total system survey a couple of years ago to identify the ones we missed. We come up with about 185, so we're down to 115. We're going to continue to try to grow our load in agriculture areas as our allotment will allow. Charlie and I just had a meeting in Kennesaw this past Monday with the municipal guys at Authority, Georgia, talking about our capacity issues, the lateral issue. They seem to take us, I guess, more serious than they ever have when we've sat down with them. Because I basically told them we have a waiting list of chicken house growers that I could put on probably about 50 chicken houses. We just do not have the allotment to do that with having the developed industrial park on the south end of town and the one on the west end. I just can't consciously tell you guys we can keep adding chicken houses when I know we may get in a mess. So we're kind of at a stalemate right now with the capacity we have. So that's our biggest challenge right now in the gas park. We want to continue to maintain our compliance efforts to assure we remain violation free. Right now we have no violations in the PSC world. We want to continue that. No major capital investments in the FY21 budget in the gas department, other than we usually put in about $50,000 just for line extensions if that opportunity arises. All right, water and sewer. Kind of heard a lot of that from Kevin this morning, but we need to continue to work close with ESG, make sure our customers are receiving a high level of service. One thing Kevin didn't mention, we're losing a lot of shafts out at the wastewater plant. We want to do a shaft and basin survey. We think there's some alignment issues between the gearboxes and the shafts. That's why we think we're shearing shafts so bad. So we're going to be putting that in the budget to do. We're going to continue to put money in the budget for the I&I project Kevin was talking about. And we will do some major rehab when we find those areas. They're going to do some major rehab on some of the well facilities, mainly buildings, for some cosmetic and aesthetics. We would like to move forward the installation of the new elevator tank that you guys heard about. And we've got a couple of pieces of property we're going to have to try to acquire. If you go on the dirt road around the wastewater plant, that's Victor Bray Drive, there's 2 homes that sit there. If y'all remember, we bought the property from Mr. Dennis Josie on the south side of the wastewater plant. There's 2 houses that sit right in there that we cannot build a digester at some point. We'll have to build because it's in such close proximity to the property. We need to put that digester on. So Mr. Davis, we might do a land swap with those people, possibly swap some land over where we bought from Mr. Josie to get them out of there. I'm going to do some research with Jerome on that. But I don't really understand how we own everything around it. There's 2 little lots. So we're going to have to look at trying to acquire that property.
Are those mobile homes, is one of them a mobile home?
I think one of them's a mobile home, one of them may be a permanent structure. I'm not sure, I can't really tell. I think both of them are, from what I understand, rental properties. The people that actually live in them don't own them. From what I understand, like I say, we'll do some more investigation. So that's some big things in the water and sewer. Public Works, same thing, continue to work close with ESG to make sure we have that high level of customer service. We're going to continue to do 2 junk-free drop-offs every month. We'll continue to try to improve these grass cutting schedules and street sweeper routes. We will be budgeting for a major stormwater project on Gordon and Raintree. We have some pipes there that have become deteriorated. We'll be looking at a couple options. If it's sturdy enough, we may do a pipe lining installation. If it's not, we'll have to do an open cut. So that'll be probably something y'all will see in the budget as well. Sanitation, I didn't put a lot in here about the sanitation. Biggest thing there is just handling complaints when they come in through transit waste. Other than that, that's all I have on all the departments. If y'all have any questions, I'll be glad to answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Terry, come on down.
In the vehicle maintenance department, a couple things we're gonna be looking at real close. Mainly, is to keep everything moving. We wanna keep the public safety, the utilities, the parks and rec. We wanna keep all the machines on the road so they can get the job done. It looks like a lot of them have a lot of goals. Secondly, we wanna set up a barcode system so that we can move parts in and out, more efficiently, in and out of the garage. Third, want to upgrade the machine shop so that we can do a lot of the machine work, bushings and things like that in-house, because we spend days waiting for parts places to get them and where we can make them in-house. Fourth, we want to set up a wash station in the rear of the shop. Hopefully our customers, being city employees, will use that wash station to try to help out some of the issues that have been brought up recently about cleanliness of the vehicles. And this is the last one, but not the least one. retain employees at the shop. I'm trying to do my best to figure out what it's gonna take to keep them there, because I see they lose them to money or to public safety. I mean, it's something that I've tried to focus on recently, and I don't know how to fix it, but, hopefully, they've run out of people to take.
How many are you down, Mr. Justin?
Currently, I'm only down, well, I'm not down any. We just, hired one that's supposed to start next week. We'll be full.
Just hired one?
We just hired one.
It's very,
Okay.
The young lady is supposed to be taking her drug test, Monday. Yes, sir.
all right.
So, hopefully that'll work out, and we can move on. This is the first time in years that we've had multiple applicants make it through. Normally, well, actually, last time, didn't we hire everybody that put in for application? Last time? Last time we hired everybody that put in for the job. didn't we?
No.
Yes, we hired, Philip and Moore.
But you had one guy who had worked with the city?
Oh, he didn't put one in last time, or the time before.
No, he did.
No, he did not.
Not the last two times.
Yeah, he had a job.
Okay.
So,
He did.
and that's all I have for you. Does anyone have any questions?
Could tell to take you a tour of that shop.
We can go right now, so.
Well,
Anything? Thank you.
Thank you.
This is the Ghetto Free Press, and I'm George Boston Rhines, and I just received the breaking news that we have a new mayor in Quitman, Georgia. Much like the Quitman 10+2, Nancy Dennard being the first president of the Brooks County Board of Education, and now we have James Brown III, the first Black African-American mayor of Quitman, Georgia. First of all, we acknowledge that black does not make it right, but right always make it right. We must understand that the Quitman 10+2 brought Brooks County the first black majority in the history of that county. And as you know, the Quitman 10+2 was brought up on charges of alleged voter fraud, and after nearly 3 years, only one have had their day in court, and it ended up a mistrial. With all that has happened, with all of the complaints, with the elections in the past and identified problems, at a particular meeting on July the 17th, 2012, highlighted major problems with the Brooks County Board of Elections, yet Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp were informed through formal complaint forms, given a DVD, among other detailed problems. And until this date, the people of Brooks County are still awaiting a response from Georgia Secretary of State and Glenn Austin, who was an investigator that came down from Macon at the bequest of the Secretary of State, yet nothing has been done. Moreover, the meeting was a total whiteout, and very little to nothing was done. This is the Ghetto Free Press, keeping you informed, because it is in time. It is indeed time that the people in South Georgia know the truth. To James Brown III, thank you to all your family that came down from New York and other places to congratulate you on your victory. As a graduate of Washington Street High School myself, from Brooks County, I say to you, as the Muslims say, Alhamdulillah. And to the Jews, I just say Shalom to you. And as the Christians, I say peace and blessings be upon you and to all the great worthies that help you in your campaign.
The witnesses lied on the stand.
Yes, yes, yes.
The Georgia Bureau of Investigation lied on the stand.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Falsified documents.
That's right.
Yes.
The Secretary of State lied on the stand.
Yes.
Sure did.
Yes. Yes.
Boone from the post office, who started this whole mess, lied on the stand.
Sure did.
Yes.
All to try to make these citizens look guilty. Good evening, how you doing? First of all, I'd like to say that we commend the Pittman 10+2 for the way they handle themselves during this. The thing about it that was so beautiful is that it was all of us. And Sister Lewis Smart, Nancy Denner, Mrs. Simmons from Atlanta, and Attorney King. They made those people look like amateurs.
Amen.
Let me give you a little background. But I'm so thankful to the Quitman 10+2 that they did not take a plea bargain.
Amen.
If they had been convicted of one crime, that would have been a felony on their records, and they would have been messed up for life. My prayer to God was total exoneration, innocent on all counts, and God brought us through.
Sure did.
I want to give you a little background. On December 2010, 10 citizens of Quitman, Georgia were arrested and accused of voter fraud. These citizens was arrested, unceremoniously put in orange jumpsuits, their names splattered all over the newspaper, the television, the radio, and this was only an indictment. An indictment is only an accusation. But yet these citizens were presumed guilty before there was even a trial. Amen. And we must understand that every citizen is presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. When they was arrested, we thank God for the community that came together. And the first meeting was held at Bethlehem Church. We thank God for Bethel for opening their doors. I was the pastor there. We also like to thank our good friend Floyd Rose. Stand up. God always have people in place when you need them the most.
Amen.
He is a stalwart in the civil rights movement. He knew what to do. He even named the Quitman 10. Amen. He showed us how to get this movement organized. And we thank God for him. He's from the SCLC. Amen. We thank God for them and Tyrone Brooks coming down and helping us. Also, during this movement, the NAACP was started here. And that was to, there might be future cases that might come up, and we'll have an organization in place to make sure we can handle this situation. Now, the United States Constitution guarantees each person equal protection under the law. The United States Constitution guarantees that every person of our nation is presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. The rights of these citizens were violated. Amen.
Yes, sir.
And what angers me so is the fact that Sister Latasha Head died with these accusations hanging over her head.
Yes, sir. Yes,
And
sir.
yet there are still, with her, 11 people that still have to be tried. This case has been going on for 4 years.
Sir.
Now, you have to understand one thing, and that is, every person is entitled to a speedy trial. Their rights was violated. Now, why did it take over 4 years to bring these people to justice? It's because they didn't have a case.
Right, right, right.
Amen.
That's right.
They didn't have a case. They were hoping that they would take the plea. But when they didn't do that, they had to prove their case. And if you were in the courtroom,
That's right.
you would have seen one of the biggest fiascos you ever wanted to see in your life.
Oh, yes.
That's right.
Oh, yes.
The witnesses lied on the stand.
Yes, yes, yes.
The Georgia Bureau of Investigation lied on the stand.
That's right.
Yes.
Falsified documents.
That's right.
Yes.
The Secretary of State lied on the stand.
Yes.
Sure did.
Yes. Yes.
Boone from the post office, who started this whole mess, lied on the stand,
Sure did.
Yes.
all to try to make these citizens look guilty.
My
That's
Lord,
right.
my Lord.
But thank God that we have a God who sits high.
Come on now.
and he
Yes,
looks
sir.
down.
That's right.
Yes, Lord. Yes,
Lord.
Lord.
That's right.
The sad thing about this case is Governor Deal, who's the leader of the state of Georgia, left the state capital to come down here and suspend people who were elected to the school board.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
This election was certified
Yes, sir.
and without due process of law.
That's right.
Every person is entitled to due process of law,
Yes.
That's right.
but he's put it upon himself to suspend Dr. Nancy Denner, who has a doctor's degree,
Yes, sir.
Sister
Earned.
Diane Thomas, who has a master's degree,
Earned.
and
Yes.
Sister Linda Troutman.
Yes, Lord.
They treated us like, you got to excuse me for saying us,
Earned.
because I feel I was just as angry as they were.
That's right. That's right.
Every citizen in Brooks County should have been angry
Upset.
Come on now.
Yes, sir.
for the way
Yes,
they
sir.
treated our citizens.
Yes,
That's right.
sir.
But yet many people didn't get involved because, number one, you thought they was guilty because the white man said they was.
There it is. There it is. Come on now. That's all right.
That's it. And you're scared.
Come on now. That's it. That's it.
My question is, how are you going to get the horse back into the barn?
Yes, he is.
That's right.
These people's names have been tarnished, their reputation besmirched. They have been talked about, accused of different things, and now they are proven innocent. How are you going to get the horse back in the... How will you restore these people good name and reputation? How are we going to do that? We need to look at that and see what we can do to help them restore their good name. One thing that most people didn't understand, and I'm getting ready to close, were that when the G.B.R, the Secretary of State, canvassed the community, they tried to strike fear in the heart of the black community.
Woo! Yes, sir! Yes, sir! Yes, sir!
They didn't want you to vote.
That's right.
They especially didn't want you to vote absentee because those absentee ballots can be accounted for.
Yes, sir. Paper
That's
trail.
right. Paper
trail.
Trial proved that there was corruption downtown.
That's right.
If it wasn't for the absentee ballots, it never would have been uncovered.
That's right.
Many people don't understand that when those incumbents were declared the winner that night and woke up and had lost the election that next day, it's because they didn't intend to count the absentee ballots.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
But God prevailed.
Yes.
Amen.
Amen.
The prosecution changed the wording on the ballots to prosecute Lula Smart. The language was not there in 2010. They changed it
My Lord, my Lord.
That's right.
on the ballot to make it look like she was guilty. The prosecution suppressed evidence.
Yes, sir.
They hid evidence.
Show they did. I'm a witness.
Amen. Show them. Speak it. Tell the truth.
I believe that we ought to demand, as concerned citizens,
Yes.
that they drop the charges on every remaining member. What's so amazing is that Sister Dana and all of the workers on the pole had been trained.
Yes.
They knew what to do. But yet they tried to make it look like they were incompetent. But God prevailed.
Amen.
Few of the fallacies of this trial, and then I'm going to sit down.
Amen.
And I don't know about you, but I got angry when I looked. I didn't even vote absentee ballot that time. And here come the G.B.R. and the Secretary of State knocking on my door.
Wow.
Wow.
But one thing that happened that most people don't understand is that you all shut them down.
Amen.
Amen.
You all shut them down. When you told them that we're not going to answer your question, we voted who we wanted to vote for, I did what I wanted to do, get out of my yard. We don't have to be afraid no longer.
All right. Amen.
There's so much I could go on, but I'm going to
Tell the
yield.
story.
Jesus.
I'm going to yield, but there were so many fallacies.
Yes.
And I hope and pray that we all learn a lesson from this.
Yes.
That we're not going to let anybody come in our community
No.
and disrespect our people. These were the leading citizens of our community that they went after.
Amen.
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 If the head falls, the body, you kill the head, the body gonna die. Well, see, they didn't know Nancy Denner. And Nina, and Diane, and Miss Sharpman.
That's right.
And they didn't know.
They didn't know.
But I knew from the beginning, that they were innocent from the start. I don't know about you, but I grew up in the 50s. I was born in 1952. Amen.
Amen.
And I know the tactics of the other man. They'll do anything to win.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
But I want to say to you and to all of the people who prayed and supported the Quitman team. I know some of you wanted to be there, but you had to work. I know some of you could have been there, but you chose not to. But thank you for your prayers. Thank you for just putting them up before God.
Amen.
And allowing God to use them. Whether you know it or not, God used them.
Yes. Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
There was a gentleman that called me from San Francisco. And he said, what in the world are y'all doing out there? He got on our organization, NAACP, because they didn't come here. I'm angry. Because the president of the NAACP didn't show his face.
Tell it.
And I'm angry.
Tell it.
Now he's writing all kind of articles. want equipment 10 plus 2 to come up there and talk. Where was he when they needed him the most? That's a little bit of the history, and I'm going to close with this. The Get Out the Vote campaign of the Equipment 10 plus those who helped was the most brilliant campaign I have seen in my life. People voted who had never voted before in their life.
Amen.
People who couldn't make it to the polls. And they got beat at their own game.
Come on, man. That's right.
Amen.
Amen.
It was a brilliant campaign. It was well planned, well organized. And many other communities are looking at what the Equipment 10 plus 2 did. And they're doing the same thing in their communities.
Of course.
So we say Equipment 10 plus 2, don't stop doing what you're doing.
Right now.
We're fast getting a new council. I told one of the white gentlemen that he was wondering how did the mayor get beat. And I told him that everybody who touched Equipment 10, we
Look out,
going
man.
after.
Look out! There it is!
I don't know about y'all, but you ain't gonna mess with no.
All I need is just for you to give the clerk permission to cut a check for 500. Thank you. You didn't leave the problem here. You didn't leave the problem. The mayor has to give permission for all the checks, all the invoices. You don't see the problem?
What I tell you, I really believe I see what's going on is that with the situation going on with money, and I'm going to be honest with you, and the statement was made that we were taking the money, she's covering her butt, so to speak. So if she's in doubt, she should inquire as to the funds being distributed. And I can understand that. I don't think it's so much that she's trying to figure out where every nickel dollar's going, but if she's unsure, then she's doing the right step to ask for it. But some questions we make an access tell them without bringing them before council is what I'm trying to say. We're going through this service again. When we get the services, a good individual, when they run up the service, the city needs to pay. We shouldn't be having to go through this. And this is the reason why this city is messed up right now. We got money, we ain't got money. We bankrupt, we got plenty of money. We paid the bill, we didn't pay the bill. That's why we need an audit, because I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't know where all the money is. I don't know where the money is. I don't know where every account the city has is. I do know I counted 19 accounts. We need to get out and review these accounts and see that we need to consolidate, do away with some. Some have been dormant for years. Those are the ones that need to be closed. Not to after we look at what has transpired through those accounts. And the auditor has been requesting this information, he can't get it.
The board is still as it was when I was a child. Nothing has been brought in, no businesses. They brought one business in, and they made sure that it was put in the city of Ivy, which was the Huddle House. And now it is closed.
But why do you think that people are so, I guess, disadvantaged in Gordon when it comes to new businesses, a better government system? Why do you think that that is the case?
Apparently, they don't want no growth. And that's what the mayor came in with. She wanted to make the city grow.
So you think that she represents growth and change for Gordon?
Yes, and we need that. Definitely. We need growth in Gordon. Gordon was larger than the city of Gray. Now Gray is almost equal to Macon. Not quite, but it has grown. Gordon hasn't grown. We've been the same. I mean, I've been there for years. And we have been the same city. Nothing. One street. One stoplight. It's not about what Mayor Lou is doing wrong. It really isn't. It's the fact that they don't want her in there because she won't grow in the city.
Why do you all think, since y'all been there so long in this city, why do you think that the mayor very seldom grants interviews to the news media?
Well, I can answer that.
Very good question.
I have had bad experience, not per se with WMAZ or 41, but with the Wilkinson County paper. I mean, they take things and they twist it around, and it's just a bunch of junk. I think they need to pattern themselves after the Macon paper, maybe the Millersville paper, because that is junk. You know, this is the biggest sale they ever had in the history of paper sale. And it's trash, it's junk.
Can you give me an example of what they say, how they twist?
Just different things that they say, they just twist it from, from past experience. Myself, I know I told them something, and I don't care to share it, but they took it and they twisted it around. It was not what I said. And Ms. Lou, she had the same experience.
The reason why Gordon has all these different accounts because, you got criminals that working in the judicial system.
That's right.
And no matter how high official that you may be or whatever's going on, the audit was what really started the problem in the city of Gordon.
Right.
The council first voted on the audit. You had 6 council members was present, and you had 5 voted for the audit, and 1 voted against the audit. It is rumored that one person made a statement to another member, "You are a disgrace to the white race." Well, if that's not racist, I don't know what is. He also said, and I quote, "If I go to jail, you are going to go to jail also. So why you want to support it?" Those statements have never been put on the air, in the news, in the newspaper, in the Wilkinson Post. I'm wondering why. I spoke to Channel 41 about it, and their comment was, and I quote, "I understand, I was there, I heard it on tape, but from our vantage point, it is not newsworthy." And that will tell you exactly what I'm saying.
So now, Mr. Lou, what you are saying is that, when you first started, my question to you was, is this a figment of your imagination? But now you have stated on camera before the people and citizens in Gordon, in the state of Georgia, and for Eric Holder of the Department of Justice that also have a civil rights division that deals with racial issues, you making it unequivocally clear that somebody witnessed what was said, yet our newspapers have ignored or said that it was not newsworthy, when in Lumpkin, Georgia, a white female city councilman allegedly referred to Mayor Gibson, and I went and covered the story because I was called to that area, referred to him as a nigger. They told me don't use the N-word, but call it what it is because we're at 2014. So you're saying what you just said has been, can be substantiated and verified by certain individuals. Who else was there that saw or heard what you were saying?
I would say the mayor reported it, number one, at the meeting.
Okay.
Nobody.
Okay, so this was at a public meeting?
Yes.
City council meeting?
City council meeting. And that was not put in the minutes.
Wait a minute. You're saying that somebody is not putting the beef of the minutes in the minutes?
Amen. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Tawana Brown.
What's the name?
City clerk.
Go ahead. What's the name?
Her name is City Clerk Tawana Brown. I was there at that meeting when Mayor Lou discussed that. She said point blank that Terry Edie made a comment to City Council Member Smallwood.
Smallwood.
Exactly. Said that, well, you ought to just paint your face black. Now, if that's not a racist comment, I don't know what is. Do we want a person of that nature, of that character, being Mayor Pro Tem for us? Do we want that person to step up? Now, they got a good one, Mayor Lou. Now they're trying to put in, what? A disgrace. We support Mayor Lou. We support the mayor. We support the mayor.
You're making things out of hand.
No, I'm not. I'm just thinking. You made a statement.
Go
I
around
accept
now,
it.
some of your black friends look at this.
I'm not that.
Promoted people and everything.
Excuse me, what's your...
I don't want to be on camera.
Okay, good. That's good. That's all. Thank you very much.
Because I didn't know that camera.
Thank you.
He'll talk without the camera.
Thank you.
One of the things that Terry Edie said today, I think it was based on speculations, on hearsay, or nothing factual. And another thing that he really said, about the fuel, the police, there's nothing going on in Gordon that they need the fuel 24/7.
Well, do you feel as a citizen that Gordon is running smoothly under Mayor Whipple's leadership?
Yes, very much, very much. This is who we elected, and I think that she needs to be put back in position.
As a citizen, what are some of the things that she's personally done that, have really benefited you as a citizen?
Just asking for a forensic audit. Who would want to come in to a place that may be already mixed up or have several accounts, it's not in order? Who would want to come into something messy? Get everything right in the beginning, know what's going on. When she come in the office, they refuse to give her files. They refuse to, give her the right charter. When you're running a business or you're coming in business or you're a city official, any type of official, you need your items to do your duty. And I don't feel like the citizens are giving them what they need. As for Terry Edie, I don't think she's been, been treated fair. I think if he wanted to be the mayor, maybe he should have ran for the mayor instead of trying to take her seat.
Do you feel like it's a race issue in Gordon?
Oh, yes. But it should be about being united. It's not about white, it's not about black. It's about the city of Gordon and the citizens of Gordon.
Do you feel that the city of Gordon is divided now?
Yes.
Even more so after what's going on?
Yes.
What are some of the things that you're doing? Because obviously we had a concerned citizen group, and I'm assuming you guys, part of the network, are concerned citizens yourselves. What are some of the things that you guys are doing to help see Gordon in a better future?
We're supporting our mayor. That's who we elected, and that's who we're in support of.
Do you believe anything that was going on in the courthouse? Basically, Devlin Cooper was asking Terry Edie, this is Exhibit A, this is Exhibit B, this is saying that she did this wrong, that she did this illegally, that she did this. Do you believe that there's absolutely any possibility of her doing something or doing her duties incorrectly or illegally? Do you believe that has happened at all?
No, I don't think so.
I gotta say something. To me, she hasn't been given the opportunity to perform any duties. As soon as she got into office, they started in on her.
One of the things that she requested requested was the audit, and I think this put the icing on the cake. Everybody wanted to talk, audit, audit, audit.
The audit was what really started the problem in the city of Gordon.
Then the council first voted on the audit. You had 6 council members was present, and you had 5 voted for the audit, and 1 voted against the audit. It is rumored that one person made a statement to another member, "You are a disgrace to the white race." Well, if that's not racist, I don't know what is.
One of the things that she requested was the audit, and I think this put the icing on the cake. Everybody wanted to talk, audit, audit, audit. Why not present the audit? Why not pay the audit? Okay, Terry Eady, he could pay a contractor $52,000.
No, what they were saying in there, not to cut you off, but what they were saying in there was that they wanted to pay the auditor, Brett.
No, they refused to pay the audit.
What was the
They paid him $10,000.
Or basket.
Yeah.
They paid him one $10,000 check.
And I was at the city council meeting. When it was agreed by the city council to pay him that $10,000. Okay, what about his other $20,000? You could pay a contractor $52,000 since he's been the mayor pro tem, and then come in and he does more construction work, and you can pay him, and he has the right to sign that check, and she doesn't have the right as the mayor to sign that check? What's wrong with that picture?
Why do you think that the mayor very seldom grants interviews to the news media?
Well, I can answer that. I have had bad experience. Not per se with the WMAZ or 41, but with the Wilson County people. I mean, they take things and they twist it around, and it's just a bunch of junk. I think they need to pattern themselves after the Macon paper, maybe the Milledgeville paper, because that is junk. You know, this is the biggest sale they ever had in the history of paper sale. And it's trash, it's junk.
This is the Ghetto Free Press, saying we are not who we claim to be as a community, state, nation, and world, but who we prove ourselves to be over a given period of time. And if we are a liar, time will tell. If we are a deceiver, time will tell. For Jesus said, "And ye shall know the truth, and that the truth shall set and make you free." Education can save us, but ignorance will destroy us. Peace and
The audit was what really started the problem in the city of Gordon.
This is the Ghetto Free Press, and I'm George Boston Rhines, and I just received the breaking news that we have a new mayor in Quitman, Georgia. Much like the Quitman 10+2, Nancy Dennard being the first president of the Brooks County Board of Education, and now we have James Brown III, the first Black African-American mayor of Quitman, Georgia. First of all, we acknowledge that black does not make it right, but right always make it right. We must understand that the Quitman 10+2 brought Brooks County the first black majority in the history of that county. And as you know, the Quitman 10+2 was brought up on charges of alleged voter fraud, and after nearly 3 years, only one have had their day in court, and it ended up a mistrial. With all that has happened, with all of the complaints, with the elections in the past and identified problems at a particular meeting on July the 17th, 2012, highlighted major problems with the Brooks County Board of Elections, yet Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp were informed through formal complaint forms, given a DVD, among other detailed problems. And until this date, the people of Brooks County are still awaiting a response from Georgia Secretary of State and Glenn Austin, who was an investigator that came down from Macon at the bequest of the Secretary of State, yet nothing has been done. Moreover, the meeting was a total whiteout, and very little to nothing was done. This is the Ghetto Free Press, keeping you informed, because it is in time, it is indeed time, that the people in South Georgia know the truth. To James Brown III, thank you to all your family that came down from New York and other places to congratulate you on your victory. As a graduate of Washington Street High School myself, from Brooks County, I say to you, as the Muslims say, Alhamdulillah. And to the Jews, I just say shalom to you. And as the Christians, I say peace and blessings be upon you and to all the great worthies that help you in your campaign.
Lied on the stand.
Yes, yes, yes.
The Georgia Bureau of Investigation lied on the stand.
That's right.
Yes.
Falsified documents.
That's right.
Yes.
The Secretary of State lied on the stand.
Yes, yes.
Boone from the post office, who started this whole mess, lied on the stand.
Yes.
All to try to make these citizens look guilty.
What's up today, brother?
Oh, good. How's everything
Good,
with
man.
you?
What's going on here today?
Hope this will be a blessed one today.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I enjoyed those comments earlier that you gave at one of the rallies. What brings you here today?
In support of having the judge, I feel that he made a decision he shouldn't have made, so he should be reprimanded. So I'm in support of having that done, because you're supposed to give every individual their fair share to prove themselves innocent. But the way the judge looked like he getting people guilty before they even had a trial to say they're innocent.
Yes, sir. And how long did it take him? Because was you at that hearing?
No, I wasn't at it.
Okay. Okay, any closing remarks you would like to give?
More than anything, it's just we hope that everyone will just keep an open mind and see how this is going to fare out, because the mayor has all rights. She was elected by the citizen, and she has a right to, serve her term. And more than anything, though, I like to give thanks to you for getting the word out, because a lot of men don't take the time and do the sacrifices that you do. But I want you to know that you appreciate it on my part, and the supporters that we have. We just like to thank you and let you know that we love you, and keep doing what you're doing, because we as black people should know that we have somebody out here that will fight for us.
Thank you very much. And once again, this is what's your name again?
Elijah Simmons.
Thank you, my brother. Once again, this is the Ghetto Free Press. I'm going in, but right now I got to go to the car, drop this camera off. As you know, this is a federal building. Bye-bye.
go back in the city hall?
She can go back in the city hall as a citizen, not as a cannot go to the city council, but not as a member.
This is the Ghetto Free Press. We just understand that undoubtedly they saying she can not go back as mayor. It seems as if though what they've been doing in Meigs is now applicable here in Gordon. They say she can go to City Hall but not as mayor this evening. And they waited until right before the meeting tonight. You call your attorney? Call him. Before you sign it, call your attorney. Once again, this is the Ghetto Free Press. Strange things happen in the state of Georgia. This is why I asked Governor Deal, Sam Olsen, and others to step in. Once again, this is the Ghetto Free Press. I just happen to be here in Gordon at this time. This is the same thing that's happening in Meigs, Georgia. We have to understand that the Meigs mayor has been arrested twice. She has received 2 criminal trespass warnings. Each one of her her brothers, Edward, I think have received 2 trespass warnings. Also, Calvin had received 2. The mayor was kicked out of her office. Then they gave her another office. Then they locked the door to that office in Meigs, and she could not get in. You know, I've been saying what I've been saying for a long time. Georgia has some strange laws, and we had better get on top of this. All this is nothing more than to circumvent the voting process in the state of Georgia. Now, if you go back and Google and research Equipment 10+2, what has happened in Meigs, Georgia, Gordon, Georgia, Davisboro, Georgia, Warrenton, Georgia, Dawson, Georgia, and others that I have been notified of, there is something seriously wrong here. And I can't understand why the Justice Department under Eric Holder, along with the Civil Rights Division, I cannot understand why they keep circumventing the voting process in the state of Georgia. I'm going to say it again. Is there anybody in Georgia or in the United States Justice Department that are really concerned about voting rights here in the United States of America? This is the Ghetto Free Press. We do what we do because I served this nation for over 21 years. And I don't think this is the America that many of our active duty, disabled veterans, retired veterans, and common American citizens are happy with. Once again, this is the Ghetto Free Press.